So we call for every person in Congress to get behind the new criminal alien law and pass it quickly. Those who oppose such a law should explain themselves to the folks who are entitled to be protected from harm. It is my strong guess not many elected officials are going to oppose the new law, but some will quietly try to derail it. It is my job to expose that, and I will. Finally, one presidential candidate, Mitt Romney, has already gotten behind the movement, and we call on all the other presidential candidates to do so. This is our campaign for the fall. We're going to get this law passed, and we will keep you posted. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, writing and introducing the new legislation. Joining us now from Nashville, Tennessee, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, and from Virginia Beach, Congresswoman Thelma Drake, who knows very well about this subject, as two teenage girls were killed by a drunk driver criminal alien in her district. All right, Congresswoman Drake, are you going to champion this law? We need champions. We need leaders here. We need people to get it right into the Congress's wheelhouse and get it passed.
Well, Bill, first of all, thank you for championing this issue across America. You brought it to everyone's attention, the terrible tragedy of the two girls in Virginia Beach. And you're exactly right. America needs to know what's going on. And what we have done in the appropriations bill this year, I introduced an amendment that would say if you are a sanctuary city, which, by the way, Bill, is already in violation of federal law, but it has no teeth, that you would lose all federal funding. Now, that has passed the House in that version. I'd like to ask for your help and the help of your viewers to make sure that that language stays in this bill and it doesn't come out.
We absolutely will do that.
Thank you.
And if the Senate tries to take the language out, we're gonna come down on them hard. But we, in addition to the sanctuary cities being held accountable, Congressman Blackburn, and you did a great job, Congresswoman Drake. You were behind us from the beginning, even when we were getting hammered in Virginia Beach by the locals. You stood firm. You knew what was right. You stood up for the girls' families who were killed, and I want everybody to know that. But Congresswoman Blackburn, here we need a separate legislation on criminal aliens because the situation is now so urgent.
Yes.
I mean, when you have three college kids sitting around in a schoolyard on a summer night listening to music, and you have a guy charged with child rape, as this Carranza was, come over to them and shoot them in the back of the head because a loopy judge and a mayor who is confused, to say the least, would not inform federal authorities that Carranza had been arrested on child rape charges. They wouldn't do it, all right? We have an urgent situation, Congresswoman, so we need to get a separate law that requires these people to inform ICE. How are we going to do that?
Yes, and we are going to do that. There is legislation that late Congressman Charlie Norwood had in both the 108th and 109th Congress, and again in the 110th before his passing. It was the CLEAR Act. So we are reintroducing this legislation. It will be the Charlie Norwood CLEAR Act of 2007. And Bill, it will handle several of those points that you've mentioned. Specifically, our local law enforcement, state and local law enforcement, will have the inherent authority to go in and detain these criminal aliens. Then also there will be the SCAP funds that they can use, accessing those state criminal alien funds, and will incentivize those that are working with the feds and will withhold funds from those that are not working to deport and to detain these criminal aliens.
All right, but I like it, but I think you've got to put in, with all due respect, you've got to put in 48 hours notification to ICE.
Yes.
You have to do that because, look, a lot of these guys have real long rap sheets at home.
That's right.
And they can be deported immediately. Now, I don't want them all deported immediately. I want them to go to jail for life if they kill the college kids.
Right. And that's why the third provision of this bill is so important. And that is the National Crime Information Center, NCIC, having that database transparent to the cop on the street, requiring the federal government so that the cop on the beat has that information.
They can get the information like that.
Right
so it's
then
a two-way
and there,
street.
And they know to detain that person. So that is in the legislation.
So, we're going to take a look at that legislation, and we're going to push it. Now, Congresswoman Drake, do you believe there's going to be opposition to any of this? I mean, I can't imagine anybody in Congress opposing these laws that both you and Congresswoman Blackburn are talking about. Can you?
I can't imagine people opposing that. I think we're all united in the purpose
I hope so.
that people have to be safe in America, and it is inexcusable for any city to protect the identity of an illegal alien and make Americans unsafe. That is totally inexcusable. And
I want
think
you guys to tell us,
support.
we're going to stay in touch with both of your offices. If there's somebody in there who is, we don't mind if you oppose, come out and tell us why. We'll have the debate.